When it comes to having real estate as a part of your investment strategy, do you think that your mortgage is your only expense, your only cost that you have? Well, I'm here to tell you, think again, because today I'm going to be talking with you about operating expenses. Hey everybody, I'm Randy Wolfe, and in this video we're talking about operating expenses, which is the day-to-day cost for you to maintain and run your property. So be sure to stick with me until the very end of this video, because I'm going to kind of go through the most common expenses that you're going to have whenever you're investing in real estate. Let's dive in. All right, what are operating expenses? What are the most common ones? Well, the first one is property taxes. Unfortunately, in America, we have property taxes, and typically what we see is each and every year property taxes have been going up. Values typically go up, and so do property taxes. So it's something that you really need to understand and have sort of a pulse of what are the property taxes in your area. Here in South Carolina, where I live, investment properties have a substantially higher property tax. So you need to be aware of that when you're investing in different areas. Do property taxes typically, are they a lot higher if it's an investment property versus a house you live in? You need to know that. Next is insurance. So insurance is another big operating expense. We've seen insurance just continue to climb higher and higher and higher. That is going to be an ongoing expense that you have. Property management fees. So property management fees, when you have these properties, this is going to be if you're self-managing your properties like software, that sort of thing. But then typically if you have a property manager, you're going to pay them basically a percentage of the rent. So usually it's somewhere between 8 to 10% for long-term rentals. Short-term rentals can be much higher than that, but typically around 8 to 10% if you're looking at long-term rentals. Next, you have repairs and maintenance. Repairs and maintenance. So this is the routine kind of ongoing wear and tear of properties. You got to go in and you've got to replace, let's say, lights, or a broken window, or, you need to go in and there's something wrong and you got to, you've got something that's getting worn out and you got to repair that or add maintenance to that. You got to fix a stove or that sort of stuff or replace that. That's ongoing operating expenses that you're just going to have when it comes to rental properties. In some multifamily properties, utilities are paid. Usually single family, the tenant pays this, but in multifamily, there are some situations where utilities may be paid by the landlord. If that's the case, that is considered an operating expense. And finally, HOA dues. HOAs typically are paid by the landlord, so that is going to be another operating expense. Now, operating expenses do not include debt service. That's basically a fancy way of saying mortgage payments. And it also does not include capital expenditures. Capital expenditures are the big ticket items. This is like replacing a roof, replacing a HVAC system, that sort of thing. You should always be putting money aside each and every month, big ticket capital expenditure items. But again, that's not factored in as operational costs. Now, I'm going to give you a pro tip here. A good rule of thumb is that operating expenses will run about, this is just a rule of thumb, 30 to 50% of gross rental income. Now, if you're analyzing a deal and your numbers come in way, way, way lower, you may be underestimating. So that is just a rule of thumb. Again, it's not exact, but it's sort of a down and dirty rule of thumb. And here's the value nugget for you. You need to know your operating expenses cold. Profit comes from accuracy, not just guessing. If you want to learn how to analyze rental properties like a pro, expenses, the numbers, learn how to invest in real estate, be sure you subscribe to this channel. I put out content each and every single week, and it's free. So do it right now while you're thinking. Subscribe to the channel, and you can also check out my private community. I will put that link in the description below. We are currently full right now, but we do plan to open that back up here hopefully in the future, and you can get on our wait list if it's something you're interested in. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.